Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the COVID Cabaret by Yokohama Theater Group. I am Hiro, your host for this evening. Now, around the world, a lot of things have been going on, and we are in the midst of a pandemic. Most of us are still in isolation, and it can get kind of lonely. And especially this week, we might be overwhelmed seeing the police brutality and doing what we can to support the Black Lives Matter movement and protesters, both in the States as well as around the world. I hope that witnessing the talent and the acts tonight might give you a little bit of a recharge to continue the fight in whatever form that might take. The Yokohama Theater Group wishes to affirm our solidarity with protesters fighting and risking their safety for equality, inclusivity, and justice, from Hong Kong pro democracy protests to Black Lives Matter protests. Our hearts are with you. Now, this is the first time that we're trying out a show online, so hopefully things will work out, but who knows? If things go wrong, the chaos might turn out to be pretty funny. Speaking of which, in case the YouTube stream dies in the middle, please go to ytg.jp to check for updates. Maybe copy that down somewhere, ytg.jp. And without further ado, let's start the show. Now, for our first act, we have Kate Montgomery and Toko Murata performing a piece directed by Tanya Koch. Kate Montgomery is originally from America. Kate lived in Tokyo for 4 years before moving to Osaka to study corporeal mime with Tarinai Nanika, where she is both a student and intern. Tarinai Nanika is a theater unit specializing in corporeal mime, which is an acting technique focusing on physical expression. Mimi and their Marquise is directed by Tanya Koch, the artistic director of Tarinai Nanika. Toko Murata is a 19-year-old university student from Osaka. She began learning corporeal mime from Tarinai Nanika last year. Mimi and the Marquise is her first performance. So take it away. That was Kate and Toko performing a piece by Tanya. Kate, Toko, and Tanya, please take a bow. Audience, give them a round of applause. Okay, so next we have Peter Marsh. Peter is from the UK, but he lives in Yokohama, where he has been involved with YTG since the early 90s. He is a teacher by day and a writer by night. Tonight, he is going to perform a song that was inspired by his time in Japan. Take it away, Peter.
Good evening. Well, we've all been confined to quarters for the last few months, and I thought it would be a good time to sing a home sweet home song. Many songs have been written about this subject, but most of them tend to concentrate on houses with pretty gardens and warm fireplaces and cozy ingle nooks, and none of them, as far as I know, really does justice to your typical 1980s 1DK Japanese apato. So I thought I would try to repair this gap, and this is my my song, my tribute to Home Sweet Home here in Japan. Darling, there's that drain that dribbles when it starts to rain. Here is where the tomcats pee. Just feel the icy blast around the single window pane. 50 shades of grey to see. The rooms are hugely undersized, the kitchen's primitive. What a charmless place to live. I have often lived in a flat before, but I always had the space to swing a cat before. Through the nose I pay, go sen a day, just to have 10 square feet where I live. Does it have a view of a neighbor's wall? In the winter, can the temperature be raised at all? Is the neighbor's phone louder than my own? Stuck in these 10 square feet where I live. A low and yellowing ceiling and a bath for some kind of freak, with walls all yellow and peeling, complete with mildew that needs mowing twice a week. I'm not often there, that don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth I wouldn't rather be. Let the big one hit, I'll be glad if it flattens those 10 square feet where I live.
And that was Peter Marsh. Please take a bow and a round of applause from the audience. Thank you, Peter. Next up, we have Jesse Berman. Jesse is an aspiring playwright and general theater obsessive who recently completed completed her first full-length play. Since moving to Tokyo, she has worked with Sheepdog Theater and Tokyo International Players. This is her first work with YTG and will be performing a live hand-painted animatics, accompanied by a reading of a short story inspired by living in quarantine in a country not your own, titled More of Us. And this is Jessie. Take it away.
I saved my walk coupon from yesterday and the day before so that I could take this long one today. The air in here smells like tin cans and stale bread, of cheap, contaminated fuels that are all we can get now. We're getting on each other's nerves more and more because she's been saving her coupons for 2 weeks so that she can get to her mom's and back all in one day for her birthday. I didn't know it was today I was saving them for, but I could feel that kind of chill, the special kind, you know, when it's snowing before you look outside because of that smell. I was ready to be disappointed when I peeled back the window insulation, but there it was. It's been 4 years since I've seen real snow, since we came here, couldn't travel up north, and then couldn't ever go home again. It never snows in this city, except today it did. It settled on the verge beds and the trees, the roads blurry with ubiquitous grey sludge. Usually city snow turns to slush under the onslaught of hundreds of busy feet. But today it happened by itself, and no one is out. Well, very few. Well, we shouldn't be. The residual freeze blasting off every window pane gave me to overdress for the weather. Our best gloves, thickest scarf wrapped tight, seal in the mask, jacket zipped all the way to seal in the scarf. As soon as I started walking, I knew it was too much, but still, better too many precautions that you can take off, ne? There is a tiny park just blocks from our house. I can't say how many because it moves, but I've never not found it. It did today take longer and 2 get turned arounds, and by the time I arrived, the snow became slush, became sleet, became rain, became stopped. I should have slept earlier, rose earlier. This is always true, but today there were consequences. First snow in 4 years, and I never got to stand in the tiny hilltop park and watch it fall on the naked plum trees and determined chrysanthemums. The snow never lasts as long as we'd hope. This wasn't supposed to be snow weekend, but Sakura weekend, the last of the season. They still report it for some reason, even though everyone knows that only the elite get a ticket for park visits these days. This all started 3 months after I arrived, and I've never seen more than 5 Sakura trees altogether. She got here first, and she got to see them. I'm not resentful, you see, because by comparison, that small boon is nothing. But still every year when I remember I missed it, it gives me a pang. The snow makes up for it this year somehow, even more rare and fleeting than the blossoms. Those 5 trees are in this very park, and that isn't all to say their blossoms aren't there. They are. There's something a little too on the nose about seeing the world-renowned symbol of spring, rebirth and such like, damp and cold and smothered in snow. It's not a total loss. Earth is colder than tarmac, so the park is still beautifully blanketed. So clear I can count how many people have been here before me. 2 of them, one large, one small, made shallow by the last of the snowfall. I feel guilty for the mess that my Doc Martens, bulging with bed socks, makes. I brought a flask of tea, planned to sit on the bench that isn't quite broken under the gazebo that definitely is, and drink it. But the snow got in every direction, and it's too wet to sit. Branch underfoot snap sounds where there could not possibly be feet. Many books have taught me that mystery twig snaps mean danger. I whip my head this way and that, working myself up on purpose. But it's only snow. sloughing off a branch under its own weight. The other trees make polite sprinkling sounds. Either Bambi or Narnia has taught me that trees that drip when it's not raining means spring has come. It would be telling me that the dark period was over if the snow had been here for more than 4 hours and if we weren't in the deepest part of the darkness that rendered winter insignificant. This part of the walk was purely self-indulgent, but now I have things to do. It's past time to hike back up the hill into town. Our close proximity to town means that our front door usage monitor only buys half an hour per coupon, and I've already used 48 minutes. I never used to wear a watch. I wonder where the park will be next time I ask to visit. I wait by the train tracks for the local to pass. They dropped the occupancy allowance again to 5 last week and raised the prices again. Somehow it became the passengers' problem that public transport made so little money nowadays. The first few times there was a little rioting, I'm sure you remember, but gradually, like lobsters in warm water, we accepted it. The last thing to cause an outcry, I think, was when national trains went appointment only, and we gradually realised that no average Joe had set foot on one for months, despite the relative affordability. It was only a little outcry. None of us have the energy anymore. We barely had enough before, let's face it. The train clats past, and it takes a little longer for the tur to arrive. It still sounds wrong, that half speed, after hearing them so many times a day for so long. As ever, more people on the outside than the inside. How they do this, I've never been able to figure out. There isn't a handle, pipe, or even a large bolt to be seen on the entire smooth body. I squint at their hands. She thinks it's specialised gloves, and I can't think of a better answer, but I argue anyway, because that's just who I am these days. The clingers-on are always men in hoods with eye protection, but never a mask between them. Either mouth breathers or spitballers, the distinction between which was starting to fade. Something else we all accepted long ago. People who refuse to wear even a token bandana on their mouth are bad people, plain and simple. We all know deep down that these non-medical replacement scrounges are a gesture, a fashion accessory, and do little. But we can't let go of the symbol. Wasn't that the first thing they sent the army in for, actually, to protect those mask facilities and distributors from looters? I saw one once, armed men riding in the trucks as rows of hungry eyes watched through fences. And after that, the only conceivable way to get them was hospital looting. I think that's when the shoot to kill legislation went through, officially. However we might feel about the authorities, it might be a good thing that the army and police are the only people here with guns. Even among criminals, before here, they were rare. As I reach the super, an old lady falls in the slush. Not hard. She just kind of drifts horizontal, like a leaf. And I and a boy rush to help her up. Some of us loot hospitals, but more of us gently lift old ladies up off the road, pat Guck off her pretty patterned hazmat suit, offer a tissue and some sanitizer. A lot more of us. She smiles, embarrassed and grateful. We learned the art of projecting all our encounters with our eyes a long time ago. It's easiest with old people because their eyes crinkle the most. We all smile harder than we would to make sure we're seen for what we mean. The boy lingers, watches her go. He compliments my woolen hat, and I wish him well. I've never mastered the pattern by which things come and go from the shelves. She, like everything else, is better at it than I am. But while saving so long for her journey, it has to be me this week, and I take what they have. The least I can do is definitely turn whatever sad wisps of ingredients that never found their soulmate into a somewhat passable polycule. I'm sure they vary the deliveries and shelf stocking, always in the dead of night, to prevent dawn crowds. Camping outside supers was a huge problem back in the day, yet somehow she comes back with what she wanted every time. There's rice but no potatoes, chicken substitute but no beef, another small price increase, a few Celsius on the thermometer in the pot. Our bank accounts show the tightening as time goes by, but we try not to think about it because we have to eat. So screams and running feet. I'm passing a meter away from one of the 7 security guards. They never used to have tasers. A gang of spitballers have pinned someone down, everyone else spraying away from them like pollen. I recognized the boy's bright red hiking boots. I should have complimented them back when he said about my hat. Security close in, buffeted by the slow escapees, a large flower unblooming. These spitballers are idiots, doing it right in the middle of such a wide aisle that was busy with witnesses. But then again, you don't infect yourself and hold someone down and drool into their mouth because you're this close to getting a Nobel Prize. But thank God they're especially stupid. 5 of them and 7 tasers. It is gorgeously efficient. They hadn't even had time to rip off the boy's mask all the way. He scrambles backwards, away from the rising heap that is deep down disgustingly funny to me, like caught fish, pieces of shit. I run to meet his scuttling back. We both have gloves and allow ourselves to grab. I check his eyes and skin under the bright lights. 5 guards somp in, zip ties grind, they start to drag their bodies out. Another has large nozzled spray, the last a ground sheet. And we know the drill. Customers who didn't get out the front door dutifully mill back to be sprayed. But the boy must go first. He stands in front of the ground sheet like an actor on a green screen, spreads his arms and legs wide and rotates as he's misted. We cheer as we hear the locks turning in the doors. We're to wait here until the police arrive to take them away. The guards will have left large stickers on them, identifying what happened. A recent idea for all public buildings. The boy makes his movements humorous, rocking like a starfish trying to dance. We cheer and we laugh because they didn't manage to spit on him, because none of the guards got stabbed or spat, because he's being cleaned and there's a 97% chance that he'll be okay. We do it because there's more of us than there are of them. Thank you.
And that was Jessie Berman. Please take a bow and a round of applause from the audience. Next up is La Quarantaine Grande Guignol, a lockdown-induced frenzy to the accompaniment of sepulchral remnants from the Capuchin Chapel in Rome, performed by D. Hume, Burning Bush, and La Pangolin d'Aur. What you need to know about D. Hume, the oldest twink in captivity. D. Hume is a delicate delinquent whose chameleon wiles conspired to muddle Buteau with burlesque, a diabolical parabola from the gutter to sewers via the stars. What you need to know about Burning Bush, she cursed the knight who never forgave her. What you need to know about La Pangolin d'Or, COVID-19 patient 0. And now, La Quarantaine Grande Guignol.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, Seen in strange young eyes familiar tears. We're old souls in a new life, baby. They gave us a new life to live and learn. Sometime to touch old friends and still return. All souls last forever, so we need never fear goodbye. Please, when I must go, no tears. In time, we kiss
chased flesh. The brow is polished marble. The horrendous depth of the hollow sockets. The brow
That was La Cajante Grande Guignol with Zihum, Burning Bush, and La Pangole d'Or. And now we have a 10-minute intermission. During this time, sit back, relax, and bop along to some music from our DJ, KaiGoon. You can find KaiGoon on his Twitch radio channel, Japan Garage Meltdown, at 10 a.m. at twitch.tv/Kai_Goon. KaiGoon plays a lot of punk, rock, garage, rockabilly music. See you after the break.
Yeah, we're probably going to go a little bit of Shawakayo tonight. Got you for 10 minutes, and go fix yourself a drink. Make it a double. You earned it.
しいあの人を愛しちゃった心の底からねえお願いよもう一度お願い幸せにしてちょうだいあの日あの人が言った言葉を信じたために夜も昼となく私一人苦しんでいるのねえお願いよもう一度お願い幸せにしてちょうだい何も考えられないほどよあなたの笑顔とあなたの声がぐるぐる回るねえお願いよもう一度お願い幸せにしてちょうだい恋は後でするものよ甘い愛の言葉なんかいらないじっと見つめ合えば胸の中がわかるのよ深く深く愛しているから死ぬほど恋は後でするものよあなただけに捧げる真心死ぬほど愛し合って愛して生きていたい恋は後で
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the show will recommence in 2 minutes.
亭主で僕女房ララララララララララララララララケメコは夜空の星のようにキラキラキラキラ輝いてケメコと口づけした なんか邪魔なのよララララララララララララララララケメコに会いました星の真っ黒けな夜でしたケメコと別れたその後で僕は一人で叫んだよいやいや今に見ていろ僕だってララララララララララララララララケメコと別れて1年目ケメコはどこにいるのやらケメコと別れたその後で僕は一人でつぶやいたいやいや僕はケメコを愛してるラララララララララララララララララララララララララ
That was KaiGoon. Find him at 10 a.m. on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kai_Goon. And welcome back to the COVID Cabaret. The first performer for this set is Soness Stevens, a Tokyo-based American stand-up comedian, voice artist, MC, and TED speaker. Her stories on social issues bring laughter during the show stage, which grows into conversation on the train ride home. You may know her as the official English voice of Hello Kitty. Her varied roles have won awards from Tokyo to Cannes International Festival. Soness has hundreds of voices in her head. Her therapist calls it multiple personality disorder. She calls it work. Raised in privilege with a solid roof over her head and 4 wheels under her feet, a Volkswagen Dasher hatchback, Soness brings hilarity to growing up homeless, mental illness, and surviving in Japan. Whether she's talking about family, society, or the restrictions each brings, her comments on life benefit us all. When life gives you when life gives you lemons, make jokes. Did I mention she has shows on NHK and Fox TV? Everyone, let's give it up for the comedy of Soness Stevens.
I was muted. I guess I'm sometimes a mutant. I asked everyone else to unmute themselves very kindly in the chat box, and then I left myself muted. Oh, and that just totally makes sense because, you know, I'm a voice artist. I have so many voices in my head. My therapist calls it multiple personality disorder. I call it work. Voice acting. It's acting with your voice, not your body. One time I was in the studio and the director says, "Oh, Soness, we love the voice, but we're going to need you to lighten it up a bit." I'm like, "Sure, which part?" "From the neck down." Really? Because I thought that was the best part of me. I got into this because, well, you know how people say, "Wow, you have got a great voice." Have you ever considered getting into voice work? Right? Yeah. When people say that to me, never. I have a voice that's so high that only dogs and small children can hear it. Dogs, small children, the only 2 things actors won't work with. Speaking of dogs, I had a show on Fox TV where I voiced the character of the fox. And my producer, he says to me, he's like, "Soness, I hate your voice, but my dog, he loves you. Like every time you're on, he just humps to scream." Oh, yeah. So I wasn't just on Fox to his dog. I am a fox.
Oh, God.
My voice is perfect for Japan. It's the land of these super cute, high-pitched voices, or as we say in Japan, kawaii! It's high enough to shatter glass, but not enough to break through the glass ceiling. Well, as a woman, like realistically, as a woman, I get paid less to do voices, even when I'm doing male voices. So the toughest narration is educational narration. Kids start learning with my voice on CD, like seriously, really, who has a CD player anymore? Peter, you are gonna love the MP3 player. It's like having 500 CDs in your pocket. With a press of the button, you can change the CD. Japan, envisioning new technology, circa 1992. Oh my gosh. Yeah, speaking of COVID, trying to get, government support. Recently, my city hall asked me to send them a document by fax. Fax? How about email? Check these facts. It's no longer 1980. These kids all across Japan use CDs, and they get to listen and repeat after my voice, starting from elementary school. And it sounds a little something like this. Hello, my name is Tina. Let's sing the ABC song. Oh, I have been doing this for about 20 years. And the kids who started with me, they must be around like 30 years old now. They could be in boardrooms today. Hello. The first item on the agenda is our earnings for the second fiscal quarter. They increased by 81%. Yay!
No.
I got into comedy because of mental illness. Every member of my family, it's like so true, Jeff. Like, because every member of my family suffers from mental illness. Not mine, their own. I have avoidant personality disorder. Like, thank goodness I've got a doctor's note to avoid my family. Like, why do you think I live in Japan? And mental illness, they say you can categorize mental illness easily. It's all relative. Well, at least it's all my relatives.
Oh.
My mom, she's really difficult to talk to. I call her every week, and she's not deaf. She just doesn't listen. So we end up having these competing conversations. I'm trying to catch up about family, and she's watching the Home Shopping Network. I'm like, so Mom, did you sort things out with Sharon next door? I want a HEPA filter vacuum. So what about my brother Chris and the job? It sucks up so much dirt. Okay. So what did you decide to do about it? Cleans your bedding too. Yuji and I decided to rent out the spare room to Airbnb guests, and a sterling silver Tiffany tennis ball can. Oh, she's 89, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But now she's seen a riding saddle. I admire her. I really believe women should speak up. And my mom, she asks for what she wants, and maybe I'm just like the patriarchy. I am never gonna give her a sterling silver tennis ball can. I worked on a documentary in Japan about Japan's aging population, and they say to live to a ripe old age, be filled with gratitude, exercise, and have community. And my mom is the living proof that is not true. She's filled with resentment, hasn't moved from in front of the TV in years, and is a recluse. Goals. Goals. I am so glad that we get to do this, live like this cabaret, because, the coronavirus and everything. And I knew that coronavirus was bad when the Jehovah's Witnesses started knocking on my door. They're like, "We told you."
Oh.
Oh, they were so pleased with themselves.
That's great.
Yeah. One of them said to me, "Everyone is panic buying instant ramen." I'm like, "Instant ramen? instant ramen. They should be stocking up on protein shakes. By the end of this pandemic, I am going to be ripped. They'll be like, oh, have you seen Sinez? Oh, she has never looked better. Oh, the apocalypse looks so good on her. My hairdresser, my hairdresser and I often talk about the apocalypse. Well, the last time we talked about it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. We talked about the apocalypse, and he says, you know, he thinks he could survive the apocalypse. He's like, my strategy: I go to Yoyogi Koen Park. Safety in numbers.
Oh God.
Limited resources, lots of people. Yeah, sounds safe. Like, how are you gonna eat? I catch a bird, barbecue it. How are you gonna drink? There's a fountain. Okay, so basically his idea of survival skills is glamping.
What?
I am talking about end of the world here, and you're thinking music festival.
Oh my God.
My husband and I were just watching the movie Captain Fantastic. It's about a family living off the grid, and he said, I think we could live off the grid. And I said, we could not live off the grid. You could live off the grid. We just watched this movie on Netflix. We just watched it on my MacBook Pro. We could not survive without electricity. So I get up to feed the cat and make a cup of tea, and he shouts like, we practically live off the grid now. I'm like, what? Wait, hang on. I can't hear you over the sound of the kettle. I said, we practically, ching, hang on a second, I'm just defrosting a chunk of pumpkin in the microwave, because, you know, I'm sorry, yeah, just a moment, sorry, what was that? I said, we practically, hang on, I can't hear you over the hand blender, because I gotta puree the pumpkin for the cat while it's hot, because somebody's got a sensitive tummy. Who's got a sensitive tummy? Yes, Nikki has. Nikki's got a little sensitive tummy. Yes, she does. This willingness to survive in some dystopian future is because you're not happy with the world now. But you know, maybe that is where he'd be happier. Like, he'd be the best in that world. Oh, the apocalypse would look good on him. Well, enjoy the apocalypse, and thank you so much.
And that was Sonus. Please take a bow and a round of applause. That already happened, I guess. There we go. Okay, so for the next performance, we have Georgia Veluti performing Agnes monologue from Marion Bridge by Daniel Massivor, sorry. Georgia was born in 1997 in Alatri, in Italy, studying cultural heritage in Venice at the Ca' Foscari University. In 2017, she attended an advanced theater laboratory studying acting, Strasberg's method, at Teatro Avogadria and Scuola Giovanni Polli in Venice, Italy. And take it away.
In the dream, I'm drawing, but I don't know it at first. At first, I hear water, and I imagine it's going to be a lovely dream. Fooled by the sound of water, I guess, and I imagine it's a dream of a wonderful night on the beach, or a cruise in the moonlight, or an August afternoon in a secret cove. But then, I realize that the water I'm hearing is the water that's rushing around my ears and fighting its way into my mouth and pulling me back into its dark, soggy oblivion. And then, when I think it's over, that I drown and that's the dream, in the distance, I see a child, tall, thin child, maybe 9 or 10, and his younger sister, 5. And beside them, their mother, she's spreading out a blanket on the sand. It's a picnic. Beside the mother, there's the man. He's tall and strong, with broad shoulders, good for leaning on if you're 5 or even 10, good for crying on if you're sad. And he's looking out at something. And he sees me. And then he touches her wife's elbow, who at that very moment sees something too. And there are children, as if they're still connected to their mother's eyes. They think they might see the same thing. And they do. They see me. And with all my strength, if you can call strength that strange, desperate panic, I wave my right arm high so they'll be sure to see. And they do. They see me. And they're standing there in a perfect line on the beach. They all wave back. They smile and wave. The little girl, the brother, the mother, and the man smiles and waves. Then the mother returns to her blanket and the basket of food she has there. The man sits, stretching out his legs. The little boy runs off in search of crab shells or starfish, and the little girl, she smiles and waves, smiles and waves, smiles and waves. And then I drown. And that's so disturbing because you know what they say when you die in your dream? Strange. The stranger still, I guess, is that I'm still here.
And that was Georgia with a monologue. So let's give it up for Georgia. And next up, we have Chip and Shannon Cawthron, who will be performing a medley of duets from two of the most popular modern musicals, Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen. Chip plays all the piano accompaniment and did some arranging of the pieces. Chip Cawthron is a professional jazz pianist and music director. Shannon Cawthron is a professional musical theater performer. They're married, have two great kids, and moved to Japan a year ago for Chip's job. Give it up for Shannon and Chip.
My father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. I'll do whatever it takes.
I'll make a million mistakes.
I'll make the world safe and sound for you. Come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday.
It'll be us, and only us. And what came before won't count anymore.
We can try that, you and me. That's all that we needed to be. And the rest of the world falls away. And the rest of the world falls away. The world falls away. The world falls away.
We may not yet have reached our glory, but I will gladly join the fight. And when our children tell their story, they'll tell the story of tonight. They'll tell the story of tonight. Tonight.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
Well, let that lonely feeling wash away.
All we see is light.
'Cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay.
For
'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand and
raise a glass to freedom, something they can never take away. No matter what they tell you,
someone will come running to take you home.
raise a glass to all of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us, telling the story of tonight.
Out of the shadows, the morning
They'll tell
is
the story
breaking,
of
and
tonight.
all is new.
All is new. It's only a matter of time.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you,
When you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. And when the children tell their story,
you will be found.
they'll tell the story of tonight. No matter what they tell you,
Tomorrow there'll be more of us,
telling the story of tonight. The story of tonight.
And that was Shannon and Chip with a medley from Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen. Give it up for them. Yeah, okay. Next up is Keith, a puppeteer in exile from the coasts of Maine, here to bring you stories of glee and woe. Keith will be performing puppetry in a performance titled Buddy and Dan's Mystical Roadside Attraction. Keith has also recently played a major part in helping out our last year's show at Yokohama Theater Group for our devised play based on Antigone. Give it up for Keith.
Oh boy, oh boy, I'm so hungry. Oh, let's see. Ugh, that's gross. Whoa, that smells fresh. Okay. Yeah, okay. Ow, 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 ow. Let me just. Hi?
Hello.
Whoa! Ah!
Yeah, well, buddy. It's okay. Come here.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Oh, you really scared me.
I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to. Hey, listen. My name's Dan.
Ugh.
What's your name?
Buddy.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Oh, you really scared me there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I mean, what? Listen here. Just have a seat, okay?
All right.
Let me. Ugh. All right. What's got you so afraid? Why are you so scared?
Well, see, I don't know if you've noticed, Dan, but it's the end of the world.
Oh. Yeah, I kind of noticed.
Yeah, well, you see, it's really hard to find things to eat around here.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a dog, and I don't have opposable thumbs, so dog food's out of the question.
That is really sad. Ugh. Oh, it's okay, bud. Come here. It's okay. I'm sure we'll find you something to eat.
Well, that's the thing, Dan. I was just minding my business, coming along, and these things don't look good, but I smelled, well, you, and you were really tasty.
Oh, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, you should, because you're freaking delicious, man.
Oh, thanks. Oh,
Yeah, well, and I just was so scared because I thought you were dead, and I'm so afraid of dying out here, and I just wanted to live, so I was looking for food, and I just
calm down. Listen, hey, I'll tell you one thing. I am not dead.
What? But how do you know?
Well, I mean, if I was not alive, but I don't remember dying, so I never really died.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. I'm not alive, but I never died, so technically, you're safe.
But I can only eat dead things, you know? I mean,
are they dead?
I don't know. They look dead.
That's what you think. They're not dead at all. They're just in a different state of living. A spectrum, one might say. There's a whole rainbow states of living that one can have. One can be mostly alive, sort of alive, or very alive, like you seem to be.
Yeah, I feel very alive.
Okay, well, I mean, I was just still life, I think. And then you just brought me into another state.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm still so hungry. Oh, what do I do?
Well, I don't know, I can't be, but maybe you can change your perception of what you can eat. If you only eat dead things.
Yeah?
What if you eat things that are alive?
But that's murder, Dan.
Oh, well, it's the end of the world, isn't it? Why are you looking at me like that? Buddy? Buddy? Buddy, I like that.
And that was Keith with the puppet performance. Let's give a round of applause for Keith. And please take a bow. And now it is time for yet another intermission. So empty those bladders or adjust your seats while we listen to more music from DJ KaiGoon. Again, you can find KaiGoon on his Twitch channel, Japan Garage Meltdown at 10 a.m. at twitch.tv/Kai_Goon. We will see you back in a few. So it seems like we might have some technical difficulties and bad pronunciation, but technical difficulties with KaiGoon right now. So it's an intermission. Music with my mouth. So you should still go to the toilet and empty your bladders, and we have about 10 minutes to wait before the next act. In the meantime, the music isn't playing on our stream, so maybe you can go and play some music of your own from your local CD player or MP3 player, as we had listened to Sines talk about. Or you can listen to me try to talk out of the top of my head. I don't know what I'm saying.
Enjoy the visuals of DJ Twitch.
So, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now, and we'll be back. There we go.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Hey, 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 hey,
Spunky onions, boy.
Spunky onions, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes to the show starts again.
Welcome back to the COVID Cabaret. Once again, you will find KaiGoon, our DJ, on his Twitch channel, Japan Garage Meltdown, at 10 a.m. at twitch.tv/Kai_Goon. So for our next performance, we have a theatrical piece written by Neff Frank and will be performed by Marissa Blair and Stephanie Alexandra Joseph. Neff Frank is the writer of short stories, novellas, and 3 plays, Les Affamés, which opened the first Festival de la Bête Noire in Montreal. Lupus premiered at the 2019 Montreal Fringe Festival in October. He is currently developing TV shows and a movie. Marissa Blair is an American performance artist and theater maker, originally from New York City. She has made her mark in Montreal for the past year, creating horror theater in Festival de la Bête Noire and Montreal Fringe Festival. Stephanie Alexandra Joseph is a young Canadian actress who performs on stage as well as on television and film. Her latest acting project was On Fatherhood, a movie starring Kevin Hart that is set to launch later this year. She is always open to new ideas and ways to explore her art. The piece they are performing, Medusa and Perseus, is an old story. Medusa and her sisters have been banished and robbed of their beauty as punishment by Athena. Perseus and Medusa finds Medusa in her lair and kills her, a modern retelling where Perseus is sent to finally kill her after years of Medusa and her sisters being tortured. Let's give it up for Barissa, Stephanie, and Neff.
Oh, Uralier. Sano. Sisters. It's the baby. It's coming. Guard.
No.
Oh. Oh. I, please help me.
Not here for that.
Sato. Are they?
I couldn't.
What did?
Fentanyl. They chose. Over you.
Over torture.
Whatever you need.
I need help.
I'm sorry, okay? No one can. I mean, they don't want. Look at you.
Athena.
Yeah, she hired me.
All for being beautiful.
It's not about that. It hasn't been for a long time.
Please.
Hooves.
So, it's true.
Wait, you were expecting this?
My sisters felt it. They said it was a horse inside. So, if not for... Then why? Why all of this to us?
See, the beauty, that was the beginning, the trigger. Your sin, and your sisters too, is guilt. You're still here after everything they've done to you. You remind them. Having to hear from you, see you, it's their guilt turns them into statues, shells of human beings. It's hard to move forward when your guilt stares back. Oh, you're crowning.
You're scared. Oh. I'm begging you.
No, this can't go on. Enough.
Look at me.
I'm sorry. This really can't go on. I have to. Sorry. Oh. God, what have I done?
And that was Marissa and Stephanie performing Nev Frank's piece. Please take a bow, Stephanie and Marissa, and a round of
Thank you.
applause.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Calixta Starr, an award-winning theatrical fusion artist from New York. Her unique storytelling style has been featured in numerous stage shows, dance festivals, and pop culture conventions. Calixta Starr's training in multiple dance forms blend together to create pieces that are like live movies that tell a character-driven story, as well as continually pushing the boundaries of theatrical dance. Calixta will be performing a piece entitled Burn. Take it away, Calixta.
A spark of inspiration, a flame of passion, a flicker of hope, an ember of determination, an ignition of drive, all to illuminate and dispel the darkness within.
We don't have to worry about nothing, 'cause we got the fire and we burning one hell of a something. They're gonna see us from outer space, light it up like we're the stars of the human race. When the lights turning down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky, 'cause we got the fire, fire, fire. Yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We don't wanna leave, no, we just wanna be right now, right now. And what we see is everybody's on the floor acting crazy, getting loco till the lights out. Music's on, I'm waking up. We start the fire, then we burn it up. And it's over now, we got the love. There's no sleeping now, no sleeping now. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky, 'cause we got the fire, fire, fire. Yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We can light it up, 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 so they can't put it out, out, out. We can light it up, up, so they can't put it out, out, out. We can light it up, up, so they can't put it out, out, out. We can light it up, up, so they can't put it out, out, out. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky, 'cause we got the fire, fire, fire. Yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky, 'cause we got the fire, fire, fire.
And that was Calixta Star with the theatrical dance. Please take a bow and a round of applause. And next up, we have Jeffrey Orchard. Jeffrey Orchard is a playwright and actor based in London, Ontario, Canada. He is of the opinion that live theater of the kind that YTG does can save the world. He misses it greatly, and he will be performing a variety of poems and a monologue. First up, we have Dr. Delusional, a comedic monologue by Jeff Orchard. Second is a dust poem, a poem about grief, self-awareness by Jeff Orchard. The third poem is the Funeral Blues poem, a poem about grief and love by W.H. Auden. And the last poem is With You All the Way, a poem about isolation, hope, and recovery by Jeff Orchard. And give it up for Jeff Orchard.
Places, everyone. Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Dimitri Delusional. Please, don't be alarmed. I know in the past my name and image has provoked fear throughout the world, not to mention several paternity suits. Sorry about that, Natasha. But I assure you, I'm fully reformed. 20 years in prison and 3 months in quarantine. It felt like 20 years in prison. And I'm a changed man. Certainly, there is more gray. I hope you hadn't noticed. Now, my loyal henchman and I, former henchman, as I'm a former supervillain, bring to you the most illustrious of grand opening to a whole new dining experience. That's right, coming to Yokohama and Toronto this October, the Delusional Diner, where we put the 30-year history of supervillainy to your service. Our innovative restaurant experience consists of a revolutionary touch-free food service. We put safety first. So we've eliminated all those pesky serving people. And instead, we deliver our top-quality food directly into your mouths via fully sanitized overhead feeding tubes, like this one. Now you can eat worry-free, just like little baby birds. Oh, and rest assured, our restaurants will be completely disinfected daily with these guaranteed to kill any nasty bugs, endorsed by several major world leaders, and they know their science. Oh, so make a reservation today. We're so good to our guests that we must be delusional. Oh, got to go. Hairstyling appointment. The next poem I will read is Dust, in honor of my parents. I used to treat it as an enemy, a thing to be vanquished on sight wherever it was found, a soiler, a defiler, head demon of the unclean. I would hunt it like a man possessed, didn't want to be that guy, that walking stereotype, just another bachelor in a hovel, just another typical man in a dirty house. Dust, dust. I still flinch at the sound of the word. Dry dirt in the form of powder that gathers on surfaces. It conjures images of stagnation, of neglect. In fighting it, I was also fighting my own grief, cleansing my guilt, trying to heal the wound of his passing. We weren't allowed in-person visits. In full mask, gown, and gloves, I spoke to him through a wall of plexiglass. He could barely hear what I was saying. He looked scared, more scared than I've ever seen him. As I sit here in my father's house, my house now, I see it. It's found me again. It's too much for one man. As I look around now, I see that. I could never stay ahead of it. Dust is like laundry. There's always more. It's here I realize I've been approaching things all wrong. I've been trying too hard, seeking to scrub my soul of hurt. Dust is my connection to my past, the last humble little link to my parents. In feeling my way through grief, I miss that. My father, he embraced us. Heaven knows it was all around him. We left it everywhere. To this day, the smell of sawdust still evokes sweet memories, still brings me home. My father and mother, they found a balance in an old world way. He created the dust, and she kept it under control, kept things in harmony. She seemed so frail. I wanted so badly to embrace her, to tell her everything was going to be okay. The best I could do was press my hand against the glass opposite hers, tears streaming down my face, and mouth the words, "I love you," over and over again. It broke my heart. So I learned not to hunt it, not to fear it, to accept it as my history, a part of who I am, of who we all are. That's why things too new, too shiny, too clean don't seem quite right, like something's been lost or forgotten. So around here, I'm letting a little sawdust fall, a little history to settle, the beauty of age and legacy to live on. Give me that connection to those who came before. Give me some dust, one man's speckled monument to his parents' love. Funeral Blues, or Stop All the Clocks by W.H. Auden. Stop all the clocks. Cut off the telephone. Prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the pianos and with muffled drum bring out the coffin. Let the mourners come. Let airplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, she is dead. Put crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. She was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood. For nothing now can ever come to any good. And with you all the way. Part song, part rally song. In this strangely quiet world, it's easy to feel lost. When it all seems out of balance, we need to find a brighter day. Dream of a new tomorrow with you all the way. Through weeks of isolation without a finite end, through winter's cold, dark, lonely nights, through the longed-for dawn of spring, through a protective wall of glass, through a face mask, small and thin, with you all the way. When it's online, everything and everyone, when you feel more virtual than real, look beyond the flat screen image to the sunlight's healing rays. Feel the wind caress your face with you all the way. Sometimes through your smiles, sometimes through your tears, sometimes through a wounded heart, sometimes through our fears, 1,000 forlorn voices crying desperate to be heard with you all the way. For every distant wave of hand, for every kiss unrealized, for every focus gone astray, every tense and edgy moment when it all just seems too much, with you all the way. Though beyond my reach and touch, there's an ocean in between. I heard a whisper on the wind, a word to bridge the distant miles. Hold fast, it said, it's gonna be okay with you all the way. Someday we shall remember that time we stood together, though so far apart. And I just had to tell you, I felt the need to say, I'm with you all the way. Thank you.
That was Jeffrey Orchard with a performance of 4 poems. Let's give him a round of applause. Next, we have Ariel Antonacci, a graduate from UQAM's École Supérieure de Théâtre. And she has been in plays in various festivals, from the ZH and Fringe in Montreal to the Festival de Teatro Universitario de la UNAM in Mexico. She also does shows for children and is a member of the theater troupe Le Bon Public. Ariel will be performing a monologue titled Guided, written by Nep Franck. Guided is a short monologue of a woman next to her lover, questioning where they come from and where things are going. The monologue was also performed at the 2020 Error Arte Festival in Mexico. So let's give it up for Ariel and the monologue Guided.
They're guides for us, the Elks. In town, we don't know when it started, but it was a long time ago. At least before my grandpa, because he had heard it from... Hand me your smoke. You're laughing. What for the hunters? Find their way. Paths here. Try making sense, one or another, even knowing well. The winter, the snow. All depends which way you. They saved a lot of lives at the beginning. That's why we're still here. Keep laughing all you want. Please, I am not the one who swears he hit on a road a species that disappeared in 1830. On the run like you are. Great escape. From what? I don't know. I try to. It's distress. You could say the opposite. I stopped trying to. It's your eyes. They're deceitful. But it's you they deceive. That's all. For all of us, at least me, yes. Running over a guy. No wonder you're completely lost. There's still some. Forget it. Drunk ain't won't get me nowhere. There's a reason why. After all, you watched it die. Its eyes must have been so scared. As much as it stays with you. Here. Was the same for us. It was easier to understand each other than when we. You agree? We didn't talk. At least not about. Barfing together. Suffering. The shakes. Coming. Crying. Sure, for you that's relative. Howling on the roof of the cancer ward. Did you ever ask yourself why they put the weakest patients on the highest floor? Eating each other out. And then vomiting on one another without the need to feel sorry because we never. That was the easy part. The meaning was always us. Together, no need to define. Already then you were running away. From your wife, responsibilities, payments, explanations, Anyways, you did it. But with me. The pain, hand in hand. We could talk about a lead anniversary when it tastes like metal. Now I no longer. You flew by, racing on a dog sled. And me, well, I got caught in the ropes, dragged through the snow, and I don't know if you thought about bringing me back with you on the sled, or you were too busy looking forward to seeing nothing. Like a whipped horse. What? No shit. Those look like what you. Guides, yes. They came back. For you. You started something. And I got caught up into it, whether I wanted or. Yeah.
That was guided, written by Nep Franck, and performed by Ariel. So let's give Ariel a round of applause. And please take a bow. For our final performance, our final performer for this evening is Joan Chen. Joan started her theater journey as a heart child from Alice in Wonderland. Now she spends most of her time as a stage manager. Her most recent production, Cinderella, with Tokyo International Players, was put on hold. However, she was able to find some remote work with PA Tokyo. The team is currently creating a workshop for writing a new musical. Joan will be performing Who I'd Be, Quarter Life Crisis version. In the midst of social distancing, many of us are left alone with our inner voice. In this act, a young software developer is questioning her life choices and hoping to get advice from her one and only friend, her home AI, Sarah. The song is originally from Shrek the Musical. So now, Joan.
You understand that we're experiencing like maybe 200 times amount of users that needs video conferencing for remote work. And we are getting claims for security issues. We're on the news. And I'm glad you understand. Cool. Okay. Why do you still want virtual backgrounds? I know people pay us for virtual backgrounds, but do you understand? Okay, boss. You got it. Virtual background it is. No, it won't happen tomorrow. Or the day after. That's not how... You know what? I'll give you a call when we're ready to release virtual backgrounds. How about that? Yeah, boss. Nice talking to you too. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Hey, Sarah?
Yes?
I think I might have a problem.
How can I help you with your problem?
Can you give me advice on, let's call it, a quarter life crisis? Yeah, that.
I don't have a quarter life. So I don't have a quarter life crisis. Don't you have friends for that?
Not to break this to you, but I created you because I got no friends.
Bummer. Well, I guess if you can try to ask me a smaller question, I can try to answer it.
Okay, how about this? Do you think I could be doing something else instead of this?
Interesting question. What are you good at?
I'm sure there's a better way to phrase that, but I guess I'd be a lawyer with a moral compass, serving world with justice, law books within my grip.
To be a lawyer, you need to go through law school and pass the bar exam. You can't afford it. Plus, you aren't that good with exams either.
Fine, how about this? Or else I'd be a surgeon, opening hearts and organs, receiving recognition for saving a million lives. I'd win awards, I'd publish books, I'd give important speeches, I'd be quite rich, own tons of houses and cars, and grant my parents' wishes. That's who I...
Are you sure you are not just giving into the Asian stereotype?
Maybe a little.
You are afraid of open wounds and blood.
Fine, you caught me. How about this? Or I can be an actor and be in different stories, the one that tells of glories and wipe away the lies. And to the skies I throw it, The stars will do the dancing, the moon will back my singing, and night will set the light. I share my heart, confess the things I yearn. Confess the heart, confess the things I yearn, and maybe win a Tony. That's who I'd be.
It wasn't me this time who stopped you from singing.
I know, it was me.
Why did you do that?
It's just, I realized that I could never change. My fate is known. I will always stay in the dark and all alone. So maybe I'd be a hero, and if my wish was granted, life will be enchanted, or so the stories say. So when I am a hero, I will end world hunger, make the pay gap smaller, and teach the world to care. But opposing me would be a man, he'd be rich and handsome. I woo the guy, donate his riches, then I'll propose to him. We stand and stare, we sing our love, we see the stars ascending. I found a wish, I found my destiny. I'd have a hero's ending, a perfect happy ending. That's how it would be. A big, bright, beautiful world, but not for me. Wait, you can sing.
You can always grow.
Why, thank you.
You don't have to be in the dark. You're not
Not alone. So yes, I'd be a hero, and if my wish was granted, life will be enchanted, or so the stories say. So yes, I'd be a hero, I would end world hunger, make the pay gap smaller, and teach the world to care. A perfect happy ending, that's how it should be. Wait! You're just saying all of this to shut me up, aren't you?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help you with?
Really?
That was Joan Chen with Who I'd Be, quarter life crisis version. Please take a bow and give Joan a round of applause. And with that, our time together tonight has come to a close. Let's have all of our performers come back on our virtual stage, and let's give them all a round of applause. So I can't really see this, so hopefully everyone's up there. Round of applause for everyone. And of course, behind the scenes, there are many people in the Yokohama Theater Group who don't appear, but work really hard to ensure that these events can happen. First, we have Rio Namegaya, the production manager. I'm assuming she's on screen right now, I can't see. Then we have Juri Ito, assistant stage manager. And finally, our stream director, Andrew Woolner. And let's give a round of applause to our audience. Thanks everyone for being here. A big special thanks for those who donated by buying a ticket. And if you came in on a free ticket and would now like to donate, you can visit the YTG website at ytg.jp and click the support link. but we're just super pleased that you've come all the way to watch our first experiment in live online performance, including all the hiccups and the chaos and the bad pronunciations and things like that I'm doing. COVID Cabaret was brought to you by Yokohama Theater Group. Please keep an eye out for our future events online. If you are in Tokyo, Yokohama, or in Kawasaki area, keep an eye out for our events after COVID is handled for some in-person theater events. And hey, if you're in Tokyo, remember, Kawasaki isn't that far away. Please join us again next time. Happy Pride Month. Good night.